Hi, welcome back to the Phase YouTube channel. I'm Kieran and I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about how being adaptable can build your resilience. What is being adaptable? Well, adaptable is being able to manage and change and maneuver and be agile when things around us are out of our control, when things don't quite go to plan. Often we can have plan A, but maybe if that doesn't work, being adaptable is being able to have a plan B. Much like a suspension bridge, think about the Golden Gate Bridge. Those bridges have an ability to maneuver, to move and adapt to the conditions around them. So like when it's really windy, they're able to move a little bit, which means they're able to flex. They're not so rigid that when that comes, they break. A bit like a trampoline. Actually, if a trampoline was really rigid, it'd be like jumping on the ground, not so much fun. But when you jump on a trampoline, the springs have that capacity to stretch. And that's what being adaptable is. It creates that moment for us to be able to stretch. You see, if we're too rigid and things change, which they do, then actually that becomes a really difficult thing. It makes us feel really anxious or nervous, makes us feel like we can't cope. But when we're adaptable, we have that capacity to stretch. And that's part about being resilient, about adapting to what's around us. Much like lockdown, lots of change happening, we've got to be adaptable, we've got to move with what's going on. I have a balloon here, and the thing about a balloon is if you want to put air in it, you got to stretch it. Ow. Because when you stretch it, you break its comfort zone. You give it that ability to take on air, like this. See, a balloon, when you stretch it, has that capacity that it can adapt, it can go with whatever's going on. Now, if you put too much air in a balloon, what happens? It pops. But when we're adaptable, we're able to flex and have that capacity not to be stretched too much by what's going on. But how do we become adaptable? Well, I want to give you 5 simple things that you can do today to start growing your ability to be adaptable and therefore build your resilience. Number 1, look back. Look back and see where you've already managed that change and adapted and survived and coped, whatever it may be. Could be starting a new school, starting a new year group, new job, moving house, new relationship. All of these things that have come, you've managed it, you've got through. One of the things that I've had to adapt over time is when I do a workout, when I do exercise. I've got 2 small children. Before they're around and on the scene, they're huge fun. Before they're around though, I used to exercise before work, get into the gym nice and early, crack out a workout, job done. However, now I've got to do it differently. I've got to grab snippets of time, whether it's sort of on my lunch break, to nip in, do a quick 20-minute session, then come back out. I know working out is really key, helps me, keeps me positive, keeps me motivated, but I've had to adapt that, even though I'd rather do it in the morning. Number 2, recognise. Recognise what's in your power to control and what's not. Actually, if we spend all of our time and energy worrying about things that aren't in our control, that can actually stress us out, make us feel quite anxious, make us feel not very resilient at all. But when we recognise what we can do, understand that that's not always a huge amount. On our website, you can check out the circles of control, and we'll put a link in the bottom of this video to show you. Understand that you've got some control over a few things, a bit more control over, or some control over some other things, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't have control over. For instance, I sometimes get stressed out and frustrated at traffic. However, I can't control the traffic, but what I can control is the time that I leave or the route that I take. So I've got some control in that situation. So recognise what you can control and focus on that instead of putting your energy into the things you've got no control over. Number 3, mindset. In fact, mindset is so important in our resilience and our ability to adapt. Henry Ford said, "He who thinks he can or can't is probably right." And what he was saying on that is actually if you've got that mindset that you can't do it, you're probably not going to be able to. I always like to think about Usain Bolt, fastest man in the world. When he stood on the start line, he got down to a starting position, he wasn't thinking, maybe I'll finish this race. He was thinking, I'm going to smash this. His mindset was always focused on a positive. And that can be really good for us. Actually have a mindset that is positive, that I can adapt, I can change, I can make it, I can do this. When we have that can-do attitude, you'll be surprised what you can do. Number 4, support. We all need support. In fact, even that balloon, going back to that balloon illustration, it doesn't blow itself up. It needs somebody else to put some air into it. Each one of us needs support. Think about who your support network could be. Friends, could be family, could be people in your workplace or your school or wherever you are. Understand who's your support network. Go to those people that encourage you, make you feel better, give you those words of wisdom and of life, help bring joy to your life. When we've got a good support network around us, even those times when we don't feel very resilient, they can encourage us to adapt, to be more resilient, to have that positive mindset. Number 5, embrace. When we embrace change, when we embrace those things that are a little bit uncomfortable, we actually grow more. If we stay inside our comfort zone, we don't grow. In essence, actually, we shrink while everything else around us grows. It may not feel comfortable, but when we're stretched a bit like that balloon, not to the breaking point, but you put a bit more air in that balloon and it grows. That helps you and I to grow, helps us to be adaptable, helps us to develop our resilience. So there are 5 simple things that you can do to grow your adaptability and to build your resilience, something that we all need, not just in this time, but every day. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get all the latest content coming from us, and we hope to see you again soon.